Okay.
All right. Well, good morning. Good morning, everyone. I want to welcome everyone here. If you are dropping in now or you're dropping in, can you guys hear me?
Yes. Good morning.
Okay, great. If you guys are dropping in now or dropping in on the replay, do me a huge favor, okay? Just type a 1 in the comment so we know you're here, so we can acknowledge you for being here. And I want to jump right into it this morning. Over the next hour, we're going to be talking about an incredible group of women who have launched a book in the Empowering Women to Succeed series. And many of you know Randi Goodman, good friend of mine, Randi Goodman and Annie. I believe this is now their 8th book that they're going to be taking to #1 bestseller with your help. And this series is about leadership and about how leadership can impact the lives of so many other people from around the world. And you're going to meet like an incredible group of women right now. And men, I'm going to suggest to you that we need to take notes and learn from these amazing women. But more importantly, there is he's scrolling on the bottom, says purchase your copy on Amazon. Okay, please go there today. Go to Amazon.com. And I want to share some good news. You know, the book has already hit #1 bestseller in Canada.
Yes.
So congratulations, lady.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now we need your help. You know, to all my friends in the U.S., anybody who has friends in the U.S., please share this with them. Have them go to Amazon. I believe it's like 99 cents, you guys. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you can help change the lives of someone that's out there. And all these amazing women, they've already done their job, you guys. They've done everything they need to do. So all you need to do now is do your part, right? Don't procrastinate. Go to Amazon, buy a copy today. All right, let's jump right into it. We're going to take about 2 minutes each from each one of our authors that's here. And I'm going to start off with Annie. I'm going to put her on the spot. Annie, could you share with us who you are and why did you decide to write a story in the book?
Thank you, Gordon. Thank you for the opportunity here today. I'm Anene Haddock. I'm actually an educator and an entrepreneur. And I help children to develop foundational mental math skills so they can expand their learning in all areas. And my mission is to deliver a high quality, affordable, and accessible education to children around the world. And that's my passion. And since COVID, we have developed a platform that we can now serve children anywhere, like through the online learning with a live teacher. And because I'm passionate about this was because of my background being born and raised in Hong Kong. Being in a family of 9 children, I witnessed how my parents struggled.
9 children.
Yes, 9 children. So I knew how important it is with education and personal development to help us get to the financial freedom. Mm-hmm. And why to make the impact in children's education around the world. Thank you.
Work with me here. My kids tell me I am like a technical dummy, right? So as we navigate through this and have just a informal conversation, I hope you guys are getting inspired by stories like Annie. Annie, I was born in Hong Kong as well. Grew up here. I love Hong Kong, so I'm jealous that you're there. Let's hear from Mary. I'm going to put Mary on the spot. Mary, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you very much. It's nice to see everyone here today. For a quick overview of myself, I had spent over 30 years in the legal field. I worked for a national law firm in many different capacities. About 4 years ago, I had a terrible accident while on vacation, and I haven't worked since. But my message to everyone today is that it's okay to not be okay, and life happens. We often have to find a new direction, but sometimes that direction finds you. And I always feel that doors will open. If you're too busy looking for it or trying too hard, you could very well be missing the point. So my idea is to find quietness, expand mindfulness and awareness. I found that ideas just flow naturally when you allow that. And And instead of following the path of comfort, I always say take a deep breath and leave a trail wherever you go. So,
wow, I love that. Mary, I love what you said when you said it's okay
to not be okay.
to not be okay. And if we have a little bit more time afterwards, I would love if you could deep dive a little more into that. All right.
Absolutely.
Let's hear from Deanna. Would that be okay if we hear from Deanna?
Hi, I'm Deanna Anene. I am a realtor here in the Kitchener-Waterloo area. I enjoy the fact that I have an Ontario license. I sell everywhere. Basically, I have 4 wheels and will travel. The reason I'm in this book, I just want everyone to know that it doesn't matter what you're up against. You still have the opportunity and the ability to strive and succeed. Get out of your comfort box and go forward. And as I said earlier, this is ideally out of my comfort box. I am not someone who's going to be doing this kind of thing, but I love the idea that I've always pushed my kids to do what scares them the most.
Wow. I love that. Push your kids to do what scares
them the most. Yeah. And the same thing goes with business. We all have that thing, or in life itself, we all have that one thing that we keep pushing back. And for me, I always make that the first thing I tackle in the day. In this case, it's the third thing I've tackled today. But I try to get that scary bit out of the way, whether that's telling someone, you didn't win the house, or,
wow.
This particular thing is going to take a little extra step. I always try to get it done first.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much, Deanna. We're going to come back to you. Clover Sterling. Let's hear from our friend Clover. Clover, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Hello, ladies. I'm happy to be here today. My background, I'm Clover Sterling. My background is a broadcast media. I'm a Canadian broadcast journalist. And I decided to write my story because during my path of study into getting to where I am now, there are a lot of obstacles, and I pushed past those obstacles. When I tried to search for my classmates that were in class with me up to graduation, and I hardly see them in the field that we studied. And I thought I should tell my story and encourage others that though they may encounter obstacles, they should try to push against that and still go based on what your heart is telling you. Go for what's in your heart, and you will make it. And I did, and I was able to carve my path to becoming a talk show host, which I didn't plan on, but it happened. So never give up on your dreams.
Never give up on your dreams. Clover, if I knew you were a journalist and what I think you said a host, a show host.
Yeah.
And you should actually be leading this interview right now.
Well, I had spoken to Randi to say that I could use my platform, even though I do not have the huge following like you do. But it so happened that my talk show has been on Rogers Bell across the States, across England, across the Caribbean, and on CHCH TV. But when COVID started, it went down. And so I'm trying now to get back up. But I still keep the brand active by doing real shows and posting to the channel, YouTube channel.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. Perhaps we'll have a conversation. I have a client who is from Jamaica, grew up in poverty, and as you guys know, Napoleon Hill talks about both riches and poverty are the offsprings of thoughts. What are you thinking about? And so today we've been able to create a new game. It's a card game called How to Think and Grow Rich with the Caribbean Think and Grow Rich Institute. Yeah. So perhaps we could use your skill set and passion to maybe have Rosetta on one of your talk shows to see if we can empower even more people in the Caribbean.
I think I have a book with that topic, the How to Think and Grow Rich, yeah.
Yes, that's absolutely amazing. All right, so we had our round table, 2 minutes each, and I think I mentioned that let's keep this really informal. Let's jump back to Annie for a minute since you're in Hong Kong. What time is it there anyways, Annie?
Midnight. We're 13.
Midnight.
We were 13 hours ahead.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Yes.
So Annie, 9 kids in the family.
Yes. Yes. I'm number 9.
You're number 9, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up? Like was there always enough food on the table or?
Actually, like my oldest brother actually started working when he was 16. That's how the environment wasn't very good, right? Like the condition. That's when I see like lots of time is like my parents like struggling with financially, and that's when I, at a young age, I already knew that education and personal development is how the way to get the financial freedom. And that's why I see the high value on education, like whether you're a children or you're an adult, because especially an entrepreneur, you still have to continue learning, right? To catch up with what, in order to grow, right? Yes.
Right. And so again, Annie, why did you decide to write, along with Mary and Deanna and Clover, why did you decide to write your story? Because you're already a best-selling author in several other books.
Yes, actually, last year there were 2 books that got into the bestseller, and when I went to Randi's Toronto Women Expo last year, 2021, I signed up right on that day. When I hear
Nice.
the name of the book, Leaders
Yes.
with Impact, and because that's my vision, that 2022, it's my year to making impact and also like establishing my leadership in the world. So I follow the title of books I find. Like I had 2 other books that I seems to follow what's the topic, and that's my goal. Like, right. So I had the whole year to get that vision of leaders with impact. Yes.
Amazing. Annie, what would you say to your friends right now in Hong Kong and in the US that are watching? How can they help support you and your friends, your authors to bestseller? How can they do that?
Sign on now to Amazon because today is a launch and purchase, and right now is a big discount with a book, and get a copy and get us into the international bestseller, because we already a bestseller like, on Amazon for the book. Yes.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Annie. We'll see if we can have time to come back to you. Who would like to go next? Anyone would like to go next?
I can go.
Okay.
Sure.
Now,
I can go.
I met Mary for the first time earlier, you guys, and she said, "I'm shy. I don't know what to say." And here she is. She, see how powerful when you become an author, you overcome your shyness.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Or not Annie, sorry, Mary.
Yeah. Absolutely, you do. It's interesting how life changes for you, and as I say, how doors open. I never in a million years would have thought I'd be sitting here, having written a chapter and talking with you lovely people. Very happy that it did work out that way. It's just a very interesting journey to be on, mine especially. Everything that happened to me was just pre-COVID. And then when COVID hit, an interesting thing happened there too, because the rest of the world was starting to experience what I was, with the loss of income, disconnection from people, and all the weight gain and all the other fun stuff that went along with COVID. I had already been experiencing that, having been off work for a year and a half from my accident. So it's almost like it was a level playing field now. And although I don't wish that on anyone, it was really interesting to listen to people complaining and talking about all these different limitations, and all the while, I thought, wow, all I'm doing now is just wearing a mask. Everything else is the same.
Wow.
But it was interesting. I just, taking that all in, and always trying to put best foot forward, and still trying to help others cope and deal. It was quite an experience, and now I'm still focusing on health and wellness for myself and my family, and really just wanting to share this story with hopes that if there is anyone else out there that is experiencing similar things, to to not lose hope that there is always something else just around the corner. I have a wide array of different experiences that I share in my chapter, from traumatic loss to having a special needs child, to my own experience having lost my career 30 years in. So it hopefully will help other people realize that, that is life, and that life isn't over when those things happen necessarily. It's just a new direction that you take.
Wow. What a great attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, it's when you're going through, I'm going to use the word stuff, right? When you're going through tough times, I'm not sure how you feel, but when someone says to me, like, Gordon, it's going to be okay. There's times when I'm like, what are you talking about? You have no clue what I'm going through, right? Can anyone relate to that? I'm like, let me just punch this person who just said that to me.
Sometimes you just want someone to just sit down and cry with you for about 5 minutes. That can make everything, that can make a world of difference, just having that little cry and then move forward. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyone else, like, if you're watching out there, can you guys relate to that? And if you guys have any questions at all, right, for our authors, Mary, Annie, Deanna, or Clover, please feel free to write them in the comment, and please share, you guys. Okay, like share with your friends, especially if they're in the U.S. Have them go there now. And I know we have friends and clients here that are from India as well. Please share with all your friends in India as well. Have them go and buy a copy of the book. Okay, who's next? I've got Deanna and I got Clover. Deanna, I can see your smile. Clover's a little bit in the dark right now, but so I'm going to pick on Deanna. Okay, Deanna.
Okay, Clover's hiding her beauty on us, by the way.
Yeah.
For me, writing the book, like, it was a bit of a challenge, but I've always looked at life, I guess, on the brighter side. And I'm hoping that when people get in and they read everyone's story, they see the brighter side. We all have had our challenges. I don't hide the fact that I'm the meat and the sandwich generation. Myself and my sisters, we have younger people we're responsible for. And we have older people that we're responsible for. During the penning of the book, my dad was actually very ill and had passed away in June. From being ill, which kind of set me back a lot, because he's because he's kind of my he's my hero. He's my driving force. Between him and my mom, we would not have had the lives we designed for ourselves. We're very much outside of the box. My husband, bless his soul, he's from Nigeria. So he's one of 8 people, or 8 children as well. My parents only had daughters, so they actually encouraged us not to let the fact that we were young ladies limit us. Like, get out and do what you want to do. You want to do something, go do it. Don't let anyone tell you can't do it. And when I met my husband, he's very much that analytical go-getter. And when we got married, I acquired a huge family in Nigeria. Such a blessing. The stigma that's attached to Nigerians, really, when you're there, you don't see it. They're just wonderful, lovely people who welcome you fully.
Wow.
And my parents encouraged me to get out and see the world. So I've been able to see a good portion of the world and know what the differences are from how blessed we truly are here in Canada, as opposed to some other places like Tibet or Nigeria.
It's amazing. Dan, I just finished, just before this, these interviews we're doing here, I just finished my meeting with a group in Nigeria. And we're actually looking at bringing a delegation over there. And we're actually going to be looking at working with students over there, as well as folks who have started up businesses, to coach and mentor them on leadership development as well. So
That
it's
would be
interesting that you just mentioned Nigeria.
Yeah. Well, speaking of students, our nephew has just joined us here in Canada. He's going to Wilfrid Laurier. So our house is contracted in the sense of space, but expanded with love, which is awesome.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much, Deanna. I'm just going to jump over. I wish we had more time, and I'd love to have you guys maybe come back another time and deep dive more into an interview. In the meantime, let's jump over to Clover.
Oh, hello again. Like a few others, I'm from a huge family of 9 siblings, and I'm 6th and last.
Wow.
So the others ahead of me, they were my role models. Everything they studied, I wanted to study the same thing and push ahead. And as life goes on, you have lots of stories. So when I was approached, I thought of the many stories that I could have written. And so I thought to share my story, how I became a broadcast journalist. Because I knew first I wanted to be a radio talk show host because I'm very shy. So I thought being on radio, I'll stay behind the scene. No one can see me, but they can hear my voice. But then after orientation, I realized that the bigger picture, journalism, print and broadcast, it's endless job opportunities. So I took it on. And before I graduated, I decided, okay, I want to be on TV. So I would love to be a newscaster. Tried, didn't get there. So I was pushed into the path of doing a talk show. Didn't plan on it, but it happened. Doors are opening, and so I went that path. So I'm merely encouraging people to just to push ahead and follow what's in their heart, as I said before, and never give up on your dreams. And there are obstacles, yes. And because I know my end result, I push past those, and not with any bad feelings of anyone not knowing where I'm going. But I pushed past those, and I'm glad to where I am at. It was a surprise that I was approached after COVID hit, and you have to evolve with COVID and so many things happening, and you're thinking, what do I do next? How do I keep my brand alive? I remember during COVID, when they were saying you couldn't go with family, no one could come to your house. I thought, okay, what could I do? So I started doing 12 months, 12 dinner parties where on camera I prepared meals at home, and I post them every month to YouTube to say this is what you can do, just to encourage families and they can still have fun at home. So I wrote my story hoping that someone will find hope to see that don't give up. There is hope.
That is amazing. Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Clover. I didn't mean to take you off screen.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm still learning how to use StreamYards here. But again, for our friends who are watching, I hope you're being inspired by all these amazing stories. I'm going to jump back to Mary for a minute and come back to you, Clover, as well. Mary, why should someone read your story?
Read my story because it's so diverse. There's so many different aspects of life that it touches, from climbing the corporate ladder to winning awards, having family with special needs, loss, tragedy, survival, coming out on top, not necessarily on top, but feeling very confident in myself and my abilities, feeling very at peace, and knowing that no one gets through life unscathed, and it's how we deal with those things when they happen, and what our attitude is towards them, and how we work through it in a positive way. Not to negate the pain of everything. You need to feel that very much. As I said, a good cry goes a long way, but not to stay there. Just
don't stay there. I like that.
Don't stay there.
Some of us like mire in our own pity, right? And we stay there.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good point. Don't stay there.
It's very important to move forward but at the same time, don't try too hard, because again, I said before, you can be trying so hard and looking so hard for all these answers, and unless you quiet your mind and are open to those ideas flowing freely, it's going to be like hitting your head against a brick wall for indefinitely. You really need to just shut it all off and quiet yourself every day for a few minutes. Not necessarily meditation and mantras and all of that, but just the quietness. And it's incredible. The mind is an incredible thing, and things will happen. Beautiful things will happen. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Thank you, Mary. Mary, are you familiar with Variety Village?
Yes, I am very.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So we were just there for 3 days.
Oh, is that right?
And yeah.
Nice.
So
yeah, there's a lot of different organizations similar to that all across.
yes.
And I admire those people. The work that they do is just phenomenal.
Yeah. And often we think about kids with special needs, but the joy, the blessings that they actually bring to our lives is just absolutely incredible, right? And my hat's off to you, because anybody who has to be a caregiver for someone who has special needs, sometimes we forget about the caregiver as well, right? Because we're all human and we get challenged. And so that's why I think you guys, if you're a friend of Mary's, grab a copy of the book and don't just read her story, like read the other stories. And when you read the stories, go to Amazon and give them a 5-star review, because your 5-star reviews are going to help them rank even higher on Amazon, so they can impact even more people. Now, if you're not ready to give Mary a 5-star review yet, don't give a review at all, okay? Because we know where you live, you guys. No, I'm just kidding. But if she deserves a 5-star review, give her a 5-star review. If she doesn't deserve a 5-star review yet, I'd rather you guys don't give a review, okay? For some of our authors, it's their first time sharing their story, and they're going to get better with their story as well. If you guys agree with that, right? So having said that, Deanna, I think this is your first time, right, writing a chapter?
It is.
And then I'm going to go to Clover and Annie. Okay, so Deanna, what inspired you to write for the first time?
I think just the fact that my journey into becoming an author was a little outside of everyone else's, or it may just be everyone else's, like running around with children, taking care of parents, driving your own business forward. I never thought I would ever write a story that would be based on everyday actions, but everyday actions, little successes at a time, obviously make great successes. And of course, that pushing yourself out of that comfort zone. Selling farms was not something I would have done, 10, 15 years ago, but I took it on. I got the knowledge, the understanding, and, I've been able to sell a couple farms.
Farms. Oh, I thought you said barns. Farms. No, okay.
Farms, as in crops and horses and that kind of thing. I just think as long as you're growing and learning and pushing yourself a little, and I'm hoping that that's what everyone's going to take away from my journey, is that I got out of my comfort zone. I grew a little at a time, and I was able to create a group and garner success that way. And the best success ever is having a healthy family, or reasonably healthy. Yeah.
That's amazing, right? Yeah. We're so busy with life. We're so busy with business, right? Sometimes we forget what's important at home, which is our family, right? So that's amazing. Thank you, Deanna.
Thank you.
Clover and then Annie. Clover, what in 60 seconds, what inspired you again to share your story in the book?
What inspired me is that motivation. Anyone who reads my story, they'll be motivated by the way I started out. Growing up as a child, I was extremely shy. I would be on the church choir.
No, you're not shy. Look at it. You're not a journalist. You're on TV. How can you be shy?
Good. But I push against that, and I try to get involved in public speaking. And even when I had doubt, I would still go ahead and speak. And that's what got me to where I am. I motivate myself, and because I wanted to go.
Wow. That self-motivation is important, right? As well. Yeah. Sorry, Clover, didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Oh no, yeah, I'm saying I motivated myself and pushed where I am today. So never give up. Yeah, stand out. Try to stand out of the crowd. Right.
How do you do that? Like, how do you stand out in a crowd when everyone seems to be the same?
Well, as I said, I was extremely shy, so I forced myself to get into groups. I love a good debate, so I go into a debate group. I go to the meetings, and sometimes I go and I will not give a thought. I will not speak, but I'll be observing. If I'm called upon, I would try to say something. And not until I went into the field that I'm in, I find out no one knows. So what I do, when I smile a lot, sometimes because I'm so shy, but I find when I put on a radiant smile, I project my voice and I speak from the heart. Yeah,
That's
so
amazing.
this is how I push against it. I get involved and I arise.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And again, if anybody's watching, please support our amazing authors here. Go to Amazon.com right now. Okay, so .ca, yes, if you're here at home, buy a copy as well. Where we really, I think, Mary, we really need a lot of help right now is we want to become international bestsellers. So if you have any friends in the US at all, tag them, call them, and have them buy a copy, right? They'll be inspired by the stories, but more important, you can be helping out all these amazing authors here. Annie, you are everywhere. We need to start a book, instead of Waldo, find Annie. Like, like Annie's in California, Annie's in here, like she's everywhere. Now you're in Asia. Annie, tell us a little bit more about, you and Clover, man, like 9 kids in each family. You guys could have each have a baseball team, right? And have a World Series against each other. And now you put authors together, right? Like, you guys are family. Is that amazing? Like, you guys are like a family with the power of women to succeed.
Yeah. So, like what I want to share with the audience is how I, through entrepreneurship, that's created the type of life that I would like to live in, and also making impact, like both achievement and fulfillment. So because it's the lived experience that I had in having 2 businesses, but each time it was because when my son was young, it was for him that as a single parent, I created a business to support the type of life that I wanted to have, a home-based business. And then the second, which I'm creating right now, is to live the life that I want as an empty nester. So I wanted to share with the audience this journey, and I hope to help them to choose the best life that they wanted to live, and how to get there through entrepreneurship. Thank you.
That is absolutely amazing. Thank you. I want to welcome Annie here as well. And is it Hitika? Did I say your name correct?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And I apologize. Have you guys been sitting in the waiting room for a while?
No, it's okay. That's okay. Thank you.
Okay. I literally just realized that if I scroll down, there was 2 more people waiting. So my apologies for that. Annie, I just want to share something with you. You're in Hong Kong. I'm going to be in Hong Kong next month. So obviously you and I are going to go out for dim sum, right?
Yeah.
And so what I wanted to share with you is the power of being an author with the Empowering Women to Succeed series, right? Led by Annie and Randi, because you just never know, like Mary said to me earlier, off screen, the doors that can open up for you. And so a friend of mine said, could you bring this Rubik's Cube to someone in Hong Kong? Has anybody here played a Rubik's Cube? Know someone who's played a Rubik's Cube?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you guys ever solved one? Anybody here solved one? Annie? Okay. So this individual is in Hong Kong, Annie, and I'm hoping when I go meet him, you can come, because I'll probably need a translator, right?
Oh,
So
you still speak Chinese?
I can't, even though I was born there, I grew up here. So he is blind. He's blind now, and he's a motivational speaker. And so during COVID, he thought, well, how can I help others who are feeling down, right? Because doesn't matter whether we're blind or not blind, people are, mental health, mental wellness. So he thought, if I could teach individuals how to solve a Rubik's Cube in 3 minutes or less, it's going to help improve their self-confidence. It's going to help improve their self-worth, etc. So to make a long story short, in July 2022, in the room, they had about 300 people, individuals who were blind and individuals who weren't. They were blindfolded, and they broke the Guinness Book of World Records with over 300 people that solved the Rubik's Cube.
Wow.
So my goal is this: for July 2023, I would like to rally. Mary, I'm going to definitely get Variety Village involved.
Okay.
Right? Can you picture in that gymnasium? There's 300 people in that room.
Wow.
They're all blindfolded, and we
Yeah.
solve the Rubik's Cube together. So my goal is, if anybody's interested, even if it's a single individual who wants to do this, I want to have 3,000 people, all of us worldwide. Deanna, let's say Nigeria. Wouldn't it be great if in Lagos there was a group that says, hey, right, let's get a group together, and together in July 2023, together we solve the Rubik's Cube, blindfolded together. We raise awareness for folks with disabilities that are blind. And perhaps we could even maybe raise some money for them at the same time. Annie, is that something that you think you could get excited about?
I wonder how they do it, like without seeing it, because I thought it's by the color. That's how you do the Rubik's Cube, right?
Well, if you look at this right here, so there's a gentleman locally here in Toronto. His name is Thomas, Crazy Thomas, he calls himself. He's always helping people, and he's got a 3D printing machine. And he actually printed these little things. I don't know if you can see this, that you can actually feel and touch.
Oh, he can feel. Okay.
On
Feel the
Rubik's
side.
Cube.
Oh, okay.
So anyways, that's what I love about that's what I love about empowering women to succeed. Because when you're not just an author, you guys, you're now part of a family, and some of the collaborations that you can create together, right? It's just absolutely incredible. If you want to buy a house, like now I know I can buy a house in Deanna. Right? If I want to become financially free, I need to talk to Annie, because she is the financial doctor. Does that make sense, you guys? You guys could conquer the world. Like, the leadership in this group is absolutely amazing. So again, we have a few more people to come on. For any of our friends who are watching, please go to Amazon.com right now. And if you're in Hong Kong, buy a copy as well, because all the sales in Hong Kong counts towards the .com. Okay? So if you know anybody in Hong Kong, you know anybody in the US, tag them, ask them for a favor, have them go to Amazon, buy a copy so they can actually help our authors become #1 bestseller. Okay, so let's welcome a few more of our authors. Hold on one second, you guys. This is why we need, my kids tell me I'm like a technical dummy, right? Let's go to Annie. Welcome, Annie. How are you?
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Gordon, for having set up this broadcast for our authors. Really appreciate your continuous support with empowering women to succeed, and everything that we are able to do together as well, also for Landed for Success. So thank you again.
Thank you. Annie, I'm going to come back to you, because there's two other individuals that just joined us, Hitika, and who else do we have here? Let me see. Oh, Nicole. Nicole, how are you?
I am.
So let's jump to Nicole for a sec. Nicole, in 60 seconds, who's Nicole, and why did you decide to share your story in empowering women to succeed?
Give me 1 second. Hello. So I am Nicole Odom-Hardentt. I am president and CEO of Focus Point Behavioral Health. I decided to share my story because I am a business person. I've been an entrepreneur for the last 12 years, and I just wanted to share my trials and tribulations of business. And for those individuals who are thinking of going into business, which I know after the pandemic, there are so many people who are thinking about going into business. And I wanted to share some of my highs and my lows and the struggles and the wins and the pitfalls, and just everything about business and where I am now in business. So that's why I wanted to share my story.
Why do you think it's important for you to do that?
Because so many, I hear so many people say that I want to be an entrepreneur. And they think that it is such a glorifying experience, in which it can be a very rewarding experience. They just see, people traveling, and they, wake up when they want to, and they just see all of that side of being a business owner. But there is so much more to it. I have a son that says, "Oh, I'm going to pay myself $100,000." Okay. but what about the business? You
Yes.
don't automatically pay yourself $100,000 and the business isn't making any money. So I
Yes.
didn't start out with making having a salary when I came into the business. I didn't pay myself until probably 2 years into
Wow.
the business. So people
Talk
don't
about
understand that side of it.
talk about paying the price, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't get on payroll until 2 years after the fact.
That's amazing. Thank you, Nicole. We're going to come back to you, okay? Let's go to, and am I saying your name correct? Hitaka?
You are, yes. Hi.
I apologize. Welcome. How are you doing?
Amazing. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why did you decide to share your story?
Well, I'm Hitika, and I am a spiritual coach, a transformation coach, and I help people basically lead them, guide them on their way to become their authentic version. And the reason why I shared my story was because for the longest period of my life, I have felt lost, and I have felt depressed and anxious. And I know so many individuals who have also felt that way in their lives. I know people, even though they are successful and, in monetary ways in their physical lives, but then they are still depressed. They are still lost on their journey. And so my chapter really goes out to all of these people who are lost in their lives and gives them tools and the ways that they can actually bring themselves back to their hearts, come back home. That is what I feel my chapter is about. It's like coming back home to yourself. So
Wow, that's amazing. Coming back home to yourself. Love it. I want to welcome Luis Martinez. If you guys don't know Luis, I call him the Spanish stallion. You know, they have like the Italian stallion. Luis is a young millennial. He's got the Luis Martinez show. He has a following in Mexico, here, obviously at home here in Toronto as well. So Luis, if you're watching and you want to interview any one of these amazing leaders here, these incredible women, who have written and shared their story in leadership with Empower Women Succeed, please let me know, and I'm happy to connect you with any one of them. Okay, actually, who would like to be interviewed by Luis Martinez as well? Anybody? Yes? Okay. Send me a message or send Annie a message, and I'm happy to connect you with Luis, and let's see if we can get you guys interviewed today or tomorrow. And we'll see if we can have more friends in the United States. You guys, if you're watching in the US, no friends, family, please have them go to Amazon, buy a copy now. Like, don't procrastinate, okay? If you drop off this call right now, go and buy your copy and come back. We won't be offended, okay? So, Annie, let's come to you for a minute. You have been such a huge help for me, for my businesses as well, and I just wanted to let the folks know how amazing you are, and tell us why. I mean, you're already successful. You're already interviewing and entrepreneurs and propping them up. Why are you still here writing a story and a chapter in this book?
That's a very valid question, Gordon, and I appreciate you asking it. So the truth of the matter of fact is the only thing that is constant is change. And I do believe in evolution. So as things are changing and we are changing and growing, we are learning through the journey. So I feel compelled to share, those learnings with others, because we don't function just in an individual bubble as such. We are all together. And that's why I so appreciate you and what you're doing for us and for others as well, because together we can create so much positive energy. And that's why I'm so excited about this book as well, because these are 16 people who are writing in it. And yes, Randi has a chapter, I have a chapter, but of course the other 14 authors have a chapter as well. And we all have our own positive message that we want to actually share with the world, so that we can create positive vibrations and we can uplift masses. So that is basically the whole reason. Okay, what are the stories? What are the messages that can motivate others to maybe snap out of a certain situation that they thought they are alone in there, but they're not, because we are all experiencing many similar things. And so once we know that others have overcome certain obstacles and they show the way how they overcome it, then that can actually create a better life for others as well. So I just love, what these books are doing, not only for our authors, but also for the people who put in the faith and the trust in us and give us the honor to purchase a copy and read the stories, and they resonate with them and they can better their lives.
Wow. Annie, before, we have somebody else who just, I believe, joined us. Sharna, thank you. And for the folks who were here earlier, Mary, Annie from Hong Kong, Deanna, who else was here earlier? There was a few folks here that were here earlier. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to have to shut this off, turn off that phone. Not taking that message, because the only people that are important today are you guys. So, and, again, for those of you guys who are watching, please, go to Amazon now. Don't procrastinate, okay? Buy a copy. In fact, buy 10 copies, you guys. Come on. Give them out to your friends and family, okay? These are individuals whose lives you can help impact. We're going to keep, again, this really informal. And if you can just share with us in 2 minutes who you are, why you decided to write the book, and then I'm going to circle back to you guys and have you maybe deep dive a little bit more into your reason for sharing your story in the book. Welcome, Sharna. I hope I said your name right, Sharna. Welcome. I believe you are muted.
Yes, you did. It's a pleasure having me. Yes, it's awesome to be in this wonderful, impactful book. And I'm just joyous to share my story, or my chapter 4, The Life of Victory, to the world. And as you mentioned, while you're watching, do not procrastinate. Go ahead and get this book, Leaders with Impact.
Wow. Sharna, you mentioned victory. Did I catch that? Victory, that's the theme of your book? Your chapter?
Yes, the chapter 4, The Life of Victory.
The Life of Victory. Why did you choose that theme?
I chose that theme because it did resonate with me and what I've been through. And without victory, there's no survival. Many a time you might look like everything is going well, you have it together, but behind the scenes, you're going through a lot of trials, tribulations, setbacks, and you overcome. Victory. Without victory, there's no survival. So, yes, and I even gave a few snippets in that about a few things that we're able to look into. How do you overcome? How do you live the life of victory?
I love that. So without victory, there's no survival. So for everyone that's watching, Sharna, I hope you don't mind, and all the authors as well. One of the things I love doing is after our interviews is I'll send it to our team, and they'll probably take maybe some of my favorite quotes that I'm learning from you guys, and then we'll use your picture, do a quote, and then we'll use it maybe for Instagram, right? So keep on throwing those nuggets out there for us, you guys. I'm going to go back to Hitika. Did I say your name correct, Hitika?
Yes, you did. Yes.
Awesome, Hitika. So let's hear more from yourself. Can you tell us a little bit more about who you are? Who are you? And again, why do you think your story can be so impactful for other leaders?
I think coming from a childhood wherein I realized that I was very limited, I had this expansive soul and everything, but then I was very limited, and I have used all of it in that chapter to inspire people who have also come from a similar background, wherein they realize that they want to do so much in life, they have so much to offer, but then they are just holding themselves back for some reason or the other. And it takes a lot of courage and efforts to put yourself in the world like that, to take the steps that you're meant to take, to say yes to yourself. And that's what I am trying to spread the word out, that it's so joyful, it's so courageous, it's going to always reward you when you say yes to yourself rather than abandoning yourself. So that's why I am doing what I'm doing right now.
Wow. What do you mean by say yes to yourself?
Saying yes to all the things that fear you in a way, the steps that you, or the goals that you have set for yourself, but dimming your light just because to fit into the world that you're not meant to fit in is abandoning yourself. Why do you want to abandon yourself when there's so much of joy and love on the other side, when there's so much of joy and love in the uncomfortable situation, So that's
Wow.
what I mean by saying yes to yourself.
That's amazing. Let's jump over here. All right. We're back. How are you doing, Nicole?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. Nicole, I'm going to do this a little bit differently. You heard stories from some of your other authors. Was there any, in your journey in writing your story, was there any other authors and your co-authors that kind of inspired and motivated you at all? Their stories?
I haven't had the opportunity to read any of the other authors' stories, but I'll tell you, I have worked with and had the privilege to meet Annie Haddock because we have been in another situation where we've worked together before. We have been co-authors in another compilation series before. So I've had the privilege of working with her before. So I know her work. We've been on several webinars together. So I am very inspired by her and the work that she does. And I am familiar with her business.
Nice. Now, you had mentioned earlier that you've been in business for 12 years.
Yes.
You're a business coach, but it wasn't until your second year that you started to pay yourself. I mean, that's a struggle. What would you say to other entrepreneurs that are just starting out right now?
So my chapter, I'm chapter 7, and the title of my chapter is Embrace the Power of the F Word. And my F word is focus.
Okay, I was going to say, Annie, are we allowed to use the F word on this interview? But
so I have a couple of F words that I use, but I chose focus for this one. I use faith. There's several others, but for this chapter, it's definitely focus.
I love that.
And, the power of focus, I call myself a serial entrepreneur. My husband and myself, we're both entrepreneurs. And, I have other companies, but my company, my primary company, I work with outpatient mental health and substance use. I have 4 clinics in Maryland. One in Maryland, 4 clinics in Maryland, and one that is opening in Tomball, Texas, which is where I actually reside. And
so you're in Texas.
I am in Texas.
Houston Aeros, world champions.
Yes, yes. So, and I am franchising. Okay. So those of you who would like to do good for the world and helping people with substance use and mental health, please find me and contact me because I am franchising. But the power of focus is amazing. And I wouldn't have gotten through those 2 years without paying myself, being on payroll, because most people live paycheck to paycheck.
Yes.
And I came from that world of living paycheck to paycheck. But having the ability to reach my goals and setting goals allowed me to move beyond that.
That's amazing. Amazing. So Nicole, having known that you are now in the US, right? I would love to do another interview with you later today
Sure.
Let's see if we get some of your friends and your contacts in the U.S. to help drive the series to #1 bestseller. From my experience, Annie and Randy, they've done such a phenomenal job with you guys already. The graphics, I'm like, man, I want you guys to do all my branding and graphics. It's incredible. But getting to #1 bestseller in Canada is easy because we're a smaller market here, but a lot of the authors are Canadian, right? So the struggle sometimes is trying to get it over the hump in the US, but you probably know more people combined by yourself and everybody else maybe, in the group who are Canadian authors. So I would love to have a conversation with you on that. And already as you're talking about mental health and mental wellness, there are so many amazing leaders in this group. Can you guys see yourself doing like conferences that, that talks and reaches out to folks that have health and wellness issues? Can you guys see doing that?
I definitely can.
Yeah, that is pretty incredible. Now you said focus. I love words. I see behind Sharna. I see that. I see the word believe.
Believe. Yes.
Why believe? Napoleon Hill says, "Whatever mind a man can conceive and believe." Right?
All things.
So believe. Why believe?
That's because all things are possible to those who believe. If you can believe it, it is possible. It is possible.
Wow. So I know lots of people who believe and they're still broke, busted, and disgusted. So what are they missing?
Another F word, as she mentioned, focus. So it's faith, is having faith and not just having the faith. Again, moving forward as well. Faith without works is putting action to that F word as well. So believe and put in action is moving into what? So first you believe, then you have faith that yes, this is possible, and then moving. Any ad approach to me, we met on the set of the Nikki Clark show. She was promoting the last book, and she approached me, and I believed in this book and by faith, and then I moved with action in being one of the authors.
That's amazing. Wow, amazing. Well, I'm sure both Annie and Randy and the group, they're appreciative that you're definitely a part of this incredible series here. We have a few more people here. Nicole, welcome back. Welcome back. And for anybody who's watching, you guys, especially if you are friends with, who was in Maryland again? Nicole, right? Nicole, you're down in Maryland, right?
I'm in Texas.
You're in Texas. I'm jealous. Like the Toronto Blue Jays haven't won a World Series. I don't know for how long now. But if you're in Texas, you guys, right? Forget the big steak dinners you're gonna have tonight. Just go buy a copy of just grab a copy of the book on Amazon. Okay, so if you're watching, you guys, go to Amazon.com, buy a copy now. Like, don't procrastinate. The authors have done everything that they need to do, right? They've done it. Yes. Like their story of authenticity. It is so hard, you guys, to share your story. I now have helped like maybe 500-600 people become best-selling authors, and it wasn't until last year during the pandemic that I finally shared one of my stories in the book. Can you imagine? It took me that long. I was able to inspire other people to do it, but I could never bring myself just telling people, oh, this is me, right? So these individuals, these authors here are incredible. Henry, I don't know how you got to be like, one of the men in this incredible group of women leaders. How you did that. And for everybody that's here, I'm going to get to each one of you very shortly, and you're going to get 60 seconds to share who you are, why you decided to write in the book, and we're going to circle back for you to deep dive more into, again, your why for sharing your story in the book. Is that okay with everyone? Okay, so let's, why don't we do this? Like usually they say ladies first, but today we're going to pick on Henry. Henry, tell us why are you here, and why did you share your story in the book?
Hi everyone. So Yeah, I'm lucky to be the only guy, but I didn't know that, actually. I just happened to know Randi very well, and I was one in the